we are going to try to find out which of these is equivalent to which of these. Because if you look at these three, these are all simplified, and these have to be changed so they match one of these. So we're going to start with this one and think, how do we change that up so it becomes one of these simplified versions? So, well, we could change this to a fractional power, or we could change this to a radical. Well, the best thing to do is change this to a fractional power, because if you change this to a radical, they're not going to combine. So I'm going to change this first one to a fractional power. And what I get here is I have a 2 right there. So I end up with x to the 8 over 2 times x to the 1/3. Now, next step is, when we multiply, do you add or multiply the powers? We add the powers. Now, 8 over 2, are you okay? That's 4 plus 1/3. Now, are you guys okay also with 4 plus 1/3 is 4 1/3? So that, hopefully you can understand what we have here now is x to the 4 1/3, which, do you see that down there? Isn't this the same as this? Isn't 4 1/3, think about how you break those down. Think about that. Isn't that equal to x to the 4th times the cube root of x? Do you guys hopefully remember here that when you have 4 1/3, don't you have 4 out and 1 1/3 left over? Doesn't that match here? We got it. So this one is right there. All right, for this one, well, could I change this to a radical? Or could I change this to a fractional power? I think I'm going to go fractional powers. I think it could be easier than changing the top to a radical. But either way, technically, could be fine. But I'm going to go with the fractional powers. So we have x to the 4/5 over x to the 3/5. And when we divide, hopefully you remember, we are subtracting powers. So I have 4/5 minus 3/5. Which when I do that, I get x to the 4 minus 3 is 1/5. Is that somewhere up there? Can't you see that that is right there? Isn't a 1/5 power a 5th root? And we're done. Now, we know that one matches, but let's practice just to see it. Okay, we know, yeah, good, but we're going to do it anyways. So I think for this one, I'm going to do fractional powers. So watch what I do here. I'm going to leave x to the 2/5, but isn't a 4th root really a 1/4 power? Isn't a 4th root a 1/4 power? Hopefully you can see that. Which that leaves us x to the, and when we take a power to a power, don't we multiply the powers? So that 2 times 1 is 2, and 5 times 4 is 20. And then if we reduce that, don't we get x to the 1/10? Which, doesn't that match right there? Isn't a 1/10 power mean a 10th root? And we are done.